I feel like what this movie is saying, I'm going to be a product of it with this review. Velvet Buzzsaw is a new horror film, comedy, drama, genre mash on Netflix from Dan Gilroy, the director of Nightcrawler. And in this film, we are thrust into the art community world, and we follow a bunch of different members who do all sorts of different jobs. And one of these members comes in contact with these paintings after one of their neighbors dies, and they realize later on that these paintings might have a supernatural entity attached to them because they're starting to kill them off one by one. Now, I was really looking forward to this film because Dan Gilroy did Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler was an incredible film, and Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in that is insanely good. And I was really looking forward to this film because it's them two back together, and it's like a horror comedy drama. It's a genre mix, and the trailer was freaking awesome. And I have, man, oh man, was I let down by this movie. Yikes. If I had to give you a small critique of this movie sucks. And it sucks because there's so many great elements that are going with this film that what brings this film down is just flat out bad in my opinion. I've heard some people really like the weirdness element of this movie, but in my opinion, it wasn't weird enough. I felt like it was always playing it safe. This movie is trying to say things about art critiquing and honestly criticisms and all that stuff in general, but it honestly just gets a bit repetitive, and it feels like it's just stroking its own ego. The performances and the characters are all really terrible. I get that's their point, but they're all so one-dimensional that their development doesn't exist. And there's honestly too many characters. I mean, like, what's the point with John Malkovich's character in this film? I don't know. And I felt like the horror elements to this film were completely an afterthought. And what horror elements you do get, I felt was cheap. They didn't really go for it or push the audience members. Overall, Velvet Buzzsaw is more like Velvet Buzzkill. I know that was super corny, but man, this movie let me down. I thought the characters were weak. The horror felt like an afterthought. The message felt very repetitive and forced. I wish it was weirder, and I wish it really owned its premise, and that everything about it felt like an afterthought and just left the stale taste in my mouth. As a score goes, I'm going to give Velvet Buzzsaw a 2 out of 5. So there you have it, you guys. That was my quick little review for Velvet Buzzsaw. Wasn't a fan outside of Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. Really, you could skip this. But if you liked it or if you saw it, let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, you guys, I'm the Slash Movier, and you guys have just been slashed.